Good morning, everyone. My name is Marcian. I am a PhD student at Clermont-Auvergne University. My laboratory is Institut Pascal, and my supervisor is Rostand Motopeti. I'm going to present you my work about the impact of mechanosorptive loading on crack propagation of notch beams of white fur and ochre. I'm going to show you the context and objective, the material and method, the result and discussion, and conclusion and perspective. The current economic and environmental context is a major advantage for timber construction, which are otherwise dominated by the steel and concrete construction. Unfortunately, in the long-term service or short-term short-term structural use, the interaction between mechanical and environmental stress on these timber structure can strongly modify their mechanical behavior. This makes their implementation more complex and can eventually lead to a shortened service life. To date, very few studies exist on simultaneous coupling of the effect of wood moisture content, crack parameters, and viscoelastic and mechanosorptive wood creep. The no work to date in these fields have studied the impact of coupling of these three parameters on wood, particularly for creep tests in variable environment. The work showed that there is a real impact of the interaction of the three parameters on wood. However, this work did not allow a better decoupling of the contribution of moisture content and mechanical effect on the crack process. So the objective of this work is highlight the influence of mechanosorptive and viscoelastic effect on wood crack propagation in order to better understand the contribution of moisture content to wood crack propagation. To this end, we carry out creep tests on oakum and white fur specimen under controlled relative humidity cycle and at constant temperature. Before creep test, we carry out static test in 3-point bending test on the notch beams of oakum and white fur until the rupture. The test is done in two steps. The first step consists in applying a successive mass on the tested specimen. The second step consists in adding water in the container that we had previously attached with the beams. The filling of this container was done via a pipe connected to a water tap. At the rupture of the beam, we stopped the water tap and we read the mass at the rupture of the beam, which a balance. Table 1 shows the average value or and standard deviation of the rupture force. After determining the force to be applied in the test, we perform viscoelastic and mechanosorptive creep test in 3-point bending. Figure A shows us the geometry of the beam tested. Each beam is equipped with 3 transducers, 2 at the side and 1 at the center. The transducer at the side, TL and TR, are used to estimate the swelling shrinkage and to correct the deflection at the center. The central transducer, TC, is used to estimate the displacement in the center of the beam. At the two ends of the beams, A and B, we made notch of length LR of 20 mm and edge HR of 6 mm. We also initiated crack length A0 of 4 mm and crack opening OC of 0.3 mm with a cutter blade to facilitate crack propagation. Each face of the beam is graded in millimeter and made by two vertical lines, D5, D6, and D1, C2. These two lines allows to calibrate horizontally the real dimension of the image according to the magnification of the image. As for the estimation of the opening crack, is done by measuring the variation of the distance D1 and D2. The tests are carried out in a box covered by a glass. This box is placed in a climatic room where the temperature and relative humidity are kept constant at 75% and 20 degrees Celsius, as shown by the external control system in fixture. The box is equipped with 3-point bending bench, which with 3 transducers. The humidification of the box is also controlled by a humidity pump. The moisture content of the specimen is monitored by successive weighing of the control specimen. The monitoring of the crack parameter was done by taking image with an USB microscope. At the bottom of the box, we made 3 holes under the test bench for loading the specimen. The specimen were loading in the wet state under constant stress corresponding to 18 and 100% of the rupture force. The monitoring of crack parameter was done with a USB microscope. The microscope automatically records the image number, the date, the time, and image size and the magnification. The microscope is set by default mode in the no calibration mode, and this mode is not very accurate and does not describe the real dimension of the image. This operation is done in 4 steps. The first one consists in taking an image with the microscope on which we have 2 reference points of no distance. In our case, we took an example with a ruler. When estimating the distance of this image, we notice that the distance reading is wrong because the real dimension of this image have not yet been calibrated. By calibrating this image with the magnification 25.9 and a known real distance of the image 10 millimeters, we get a less erroneous reading of the measured distance. On the final image, we can see the measured distance is not the same as the known distance. The error is of this order of 0.09% and is very neglected which can be justified by the difference in precision of our measuring tools, in particular the graduated ruler. We present the strain due to the mechanosorptive and viscoelastic behavior effect on the crack propagation of the test beams until the rupture of the test one, and the evolution of moisture content. From this curve, we can see that the instantaneous strain of Occum is greater than those of white fur. We zoom in on one figure E of white fur test 1. During the instantaneous loading, the better see the timing of the loading as shown by the circle area P1. The crack propagation tends to develop on one side of the beam while it remains almost constant on the opposite side. This is the case in Fig A and Fig C. After loading, the wood shows a viscoelastic behavior. During this phase, the crack increment remains almost constant. but after the first drying, the wood show a constructive behavior, and the crack increment tends to increase until the rupture of the beam. In the white fir test, the rupture occurred during the drying phase, while the Occam test it occurred during the wetting phase. During the second humidification on day 4, two types of phenomena are observed, mainly pseudo creep and pseudo recovery. These phenomena are explained by moisture expansion. The same observation can be seen in this slide. Represent the effect of the sorption cycle on the crack propagation. This figure shows that the behavior of the crack opening under the effect of variation of the experimental moisture content of the two phase A and B of the Occam and white fir specimen for test 1 and test 2. The crack opening increases during the drying phase. However, they remain constant during the or closed during the wetting phase. The increasing in crack opening during the humidification phase on day 7 is explained by the additional loading. This figure shows the evolution of the energy restitution rate with the crack increment for the species. The amount of initial energy required for crack propagation in Occam is slightly higher than that provided by white fir. This can be justified by the density of the two specimens tested, which are 0.42 for the Occam and 0.41 for the white fir. This constant seems to confirm the observation of Odunga and Hall on the effect of the density on the rate of energy restitution, where we note that the rate of the energy restitution of the dense species was higher for that of less dense species. In conclusion, we can see that crack propagation is accentuated by the drying effect and the applied stress. Crack propagation is influenced by visco and mechanosorptive effect. The crack propagation is greater when mechanosorptive effect occur, especially during the drying phase. The crack opening increases during the drying phase. Crack opening remains constant for or closed during humidification. In the future, we like to carry out further tests with long sorption cycle and apply the same strain rate to all specimens for a good stabilization of the moisture content in wood. Thank you for your attention.